Hi, this is Gambit01, and this is the start to my guide on how to draft in GvG. A little bit about me real quick is I've been playing since beta. Also, I am a legend rank player several times over. Basically, anytime I want to hit it. I haven't been playing a lot of ranked lately, simply due to the fact that I've been having a ton of fun in GvG Arena. Also a lot of success in it, which is why I wanted to make this video. But I'm still trying to work on getting a lot of the GvG cards. Those are going really, really well, especially since the arena has changed a lot, and I feel like it kind of supports my playstyle a lot more now. But I wanted to make the video for a couple of reasons, and it's simply because arena has changed a ton from how it was before GvG came out. And I've been seeing a lot of Reddit posts from new players who are just getting into the game because of the new expansion. They're struggling on cards, which means they're struggling in rank play, and the best way to get cards is strictly through arena. If you can maintain a good arena draft every single game, play well, you can not only get packs, you can get additional gold, you can get things to craft cards, your dust, and you could just keep playing arena and keep getting cards for free. So I want to make a guide to really help them out so they know how to start. I'm going to try and be as vocal as possible in my thought process while playing, and also my thought process on why I draft the way I do. Because if you understand why I do the things that I do, then it'll be a lot easier for you to incorporate that in your games. You'll be there and you'll be like, okay, why did he think to do this? What was his thought process? And you can understand the actual reasons why, versus just following a guide or, you know, reading, pick this card anytime you see it, when sometimes it's not the right case. Yeah, I make mistakes. No, I don't claim to be the best, but I'm having a ton of fun and a ton of success in arena, and I kind of wanted to share that. And the second reason why I wanted to make the guide was simply because I've seen a lot of posts about players who were good at arena before, but now they're struggling really, really hard in the GvG arena. And it's not only because the drafts has changed, the draft is way different now, the gameplay is way different now. How you're supposed to play is not the same as how you're supposed to play then. And I'm starting to see that change, and people are starting to grasp that. But I wanted to make kind of a guide on for those players as well. If you have a lot of experience playing the game, but you're struggling in the draft, hopefully this helps you out. Real quick about me before we get into our first draft. I've been playing card games for a very long time now. Obviously, I got my start when I was a lot younger, back in playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Went to Nationals for that, so I was pretty good at that. Drafting in that game didn't really exist, though. However, I got a lot of my draft experience from Marvel Verse Systems, which was the game that was out for a while. I really loved everything about that game. Drafting was super fun. It's actually part of the competitive scene. I got a lot of experience from drafting that way. So you might see me use some terminology that come from that game, like 2, 3, 4, 5 drops, you know, things like that. Should be pretty easy to follow, though. And I feel like the arena has kind of changed in the way that it works, where drafting a really good curve is really what matters versus your removal and your spells and your draw power. But without further ado, let's see if I can talk. Let's get into our first draft, and I'll walk you through that. It might be a little bit of a longer of a video, but I really hope you get something out of it. Okay, let's go ahead and start a draft. Since I'm playing competitively, and when you're picking your hero, you want to pick a hero that can do 1 damage for free. It's so important to get good value from your cards if you can do an extra point of damage. That's like Rogue, Mage, Druid. The other one that doesn't apply to, but is super strong right now, is Priest. Priest can wreck Mage, and that's the main reason to pick Priest. But I have Mage as an option. I'm going to go ahead and pick Mage up there. Okay. This is not a bad start. Mana Addict can be good Mage, but it's a suboptimal 2-drop. If the stats were permanent, I would like this card a lot, but it's not. So, an Ancient Launcher is good and constructed sometimes. It's not really good in draft. So I'm going to go with Bob Lobber. There's tons of value here. You just throw that down on 5, and you do 4 damage for free. Okay, this is an interesting one then, because this is a suboptimal 3-drop. It does the 1 free damage, which is nice. The Flame Cannon is amazing, though. Absolutely amazing. 4 damage. It says randomly, but most of the time you can get it so there's one minion on board. So it's really easy to play this and just remove a threat. And it's 4 damage for 2. That's the part that's amazing. It's 4 for 2. Great value there. Boulder Fist Ogre is an amazing 6-drop, one of the best 6-drops, at least from a common standpoint and stat-wise. And I think I'm going to go with the Ogre here, just because I prioritize my board. And I'll probably get another chance at a Flame Cannon, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get another chance at an Ogre. So I'm going to go with the Ogre here. Okay. Man, this is shaping up already to be good in my first 3 picks. We got Fireball. Fireball's amazing. Everyone knows Fireball's amazing. And Snow Chugger. Well, I might pick it just to hear Chugga Chugga Chugga, because it has the best entrance in the game, in my opinion. And it's a pretty valuable 2-drop. Silver Moon Guardian's not bad. The Divine Shield is essentially pay 2 mana to do damage to this card. So if you're playing against like a rogue or a mage or any of those type of classes, I always look at a Divine Shield as pay 2 mana, and then you can do damage to this. So it has a built-in cost for your opponent, which is always nice. However, this is Mage, this is Arena. I have a Fireball. You like always pick Fireball. I pick 17 Fireballs. I'd always pick Fireball. Mana Worm's a great 1-drop because it has a 3, and it gets the permanent attack buff, and I'm playing Mage. Arcade Missiles isn't bad. It's okay. Mirror Entity's really good, just for tempo. And also, playing a Secret makes your opponent have to play suboptimally, which is nice. It might be nice to pick up the Mirror Entity now, and then if I run into any of the other cards that combos with having a Secret, I can pick that up for value. At the same time, I'd love to pick up a Mana Worm, because 1-drops are so important in GvG. It's a lot different than it was pre-GvG. If you can have a 1-drop, a 2-drop, a 3-drop, 4-drop, and you just play on curve, you'll win a huge amount of your games. That's how I actually have such a good win rate, is I try to make a really great curve and then just play a good minion every single turn. And it just overwhelms your opponent, because board clears are so hard to come by right now. So I could make an argument for picking this or picking Mana Worm. I think in this case, I'm going to go with the Mana Worm, though, just so I have a 1-drop. Okay. And then we have Silver Moon Guardian again, suboptimal 4-drop. It's early in the draft. I don't need to pick this up this early. If this was like pick number 22 and I didn't have any 4-drops, I'd definitely be going with this. Tinkertown Technician has amazing value out of it if you have a mech on board, because it's a 4/4 for 3, which is awesome. And you get the spare part, and a lot of the spare parts in Arena can do some work, like bouncing to your hand, giving you a taunt if you need, extra damage. The extra health one I haven't found to be very valuable very often. The freeze card is amazing, though, in Arena. However, this is one of my favorite 2-drops in the new set. I think this is a great 2-drop. I think we'll see a lot more of this in Constructed eventually. Due to the simple fact that it's a guaranteed 2-drop. You just drop it on 2. It's guaranteed 99% of the time that you're going to get an attack the next turn. You're going to get a trade the way you want it. It's always going to be there due to the stealth. And it has the 3 toughness, which is pretty nice. Especially in Arena, a lot of people, not a lot, but you'll see times where people drop a 2/2 on 2. This just trades for free. Just super nice. So I'm going to go with the Stalker here, only due to the fact that I have no mechs. If I had mechs already, I would grab this for sure, but it's a risky pick versus a very good pick. So I'm always going to pick the good pick over the risky pick. As I say that, I get these. But these are on 4. Now this is a very interesting choose from. Magma Rager is terrible. Don't pick this card. It's bad. However, Mechanical Yeti is great. It has your Yeti stats, your 4 for 5. It's a mech. Drops on 4. Gives a spare part. However, it does give one to your opponent, which isn't as good. But it's still great. Piloted Shredder, on the other hand, has a built-in value in the fact that you get a random 2-drop. Sometimes it could be garbage. However, a lot of the time, it at least secures the fact that you'll always have a minion on board. I could see a very good argument against either of these. However, since I am playing Mage, and I like my board control, I'm going to go with the Shredder. yeah, a 3 can be traded into it, but then what are they going to trade for the other half? Which 99% of the time, they'll trade into this and have to burn another card to get rid of it, so it's a 2-for-1 value. Or they can just get rid of half of it, and then I get a guaranteed minion on my board the next turn for positive trades with my hero power. So I'm going to go with Shredder, though picking Yeti would definitely not be wrong. Brewmaster is an above average 4 stat-wise. Well, it's a reverse stat-wise. It gives you the 4 health, which is still pretty strong most of the case. And it's hard to deal with. The effect can be great, can be bad, can be annoying. Just depends what you already have on the board. It can let you trade something in, and it's only at 1 health, bounce it back to your hand, you can play it another turn. Efficiency out of cards is what's really, really important in Arena. Mirror Image, I don't like this in Arena. You just kind of burn it for stall, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I rarely ever pick Mirror Image. And now we're back to Flame Cannon, which is good because I passed one up already. And so I'm definitely going to pick Flame Cannon here. It allows me to control board, and not only that, they could drop a 3. Sometimes they drop a 4 drop, and you can just use 2 mana, get rid of it. It's super nice. I love this card. Okay, we got the Mad Bomber, which can be fun. Sometimes it wins you the game. Literally, it just wins you the game. They drop a 2-drop, you drop Mad Bomber. Mad Bomber kills their 2-drop for free. The end. Then you just continue to drop cards, and they're behind at that point. It really, really hurts them because you get a 2-for-1 on 2, which is a really, really, really hard time to start getting that much value from your cards. Arcane Missiles isn't bad. It could combo with the Mana Worm to get that attack up, plus 3 damage. It's pretty similar to the Bomber except you don't get the body on board. Amani Berserker is amazing. This can just run away with the game. If they drop a 2-2 and you smash this in, or if you go first and you drop this and all they have is a 2-2 to drop in their hand, they half the time won't even drop it because they know you're going to get that 5 and they're not going to have a good way to deal with it. Also, since I'm playing Mage, I can ping this for 5 and trade up. So I'm going to go with the Berserker here, though if you're a fan of Risk, the Bomber is okay as well. But I really, really like Amani. That's really 2 really good 2-drops. Okay, we got Ship's Cannon, which it would be really good in a pirate deck. Murloc Raider is garbage. Yeah, I mean, it's a 1-drop. It just gets pinged off by abilities. Mirror Image, on the other hand, or Mirror Entity. See if I can talk today. I can get really good tempo out of this, and it's still early in my draft, so hopefully I can also get some draws that combo with having a secret. But this is even good by itself. This will not be good by itself. I already have valuable 2s. I don't need the desperate pick of 2. I'm going to go with the Entity here. Okay, this will be an interesting one. The Illuminator, if I have a secret in play, I gain 4 health, but it has really, really bad stats, in my opinion. And plus 4 health that early in the game, probably not that important. Counterspell, on the other hand, is a really good secret as well. And then we have Emperor Cobra, which there's mixed opinions on this card, and I have a different opinion on it, I think, than I've found. I actually like this a lot as a pick for my 3, especially in Mage. I think it's super strong in Mage due to the fact that I can make, a lot of the time I can make sure the board is clear, and I can drop this on a clear board on 3. And think about that. If you drop the Cobra on 3 into a clear board, they either need to use their removal to get rid of it, so they're using their removal on a 3-drop, which is nice, or 2, they can't drop a 4-drop. They can't just drop a 4-drop after you put Cobra because it just insta-dies. So if you drop Cobra, they have a Yeti in hand, they can't play their Yeti. They could, but they would get horrible value out of their Yeti. And I like putting people in that situation. I really like being able to get this card onto the board when I have tempo. It means they're not going to get tempo back. So I'm going to go with the Cobra here. Okay, Jungle Panther is the same vein as a Cobra in one aspect because it has the stealth, so you can just play that down on 3. You get a guaranteed attack out of it, which is really important with your minions. Getting a guaranteed attack which means I can play this on 3. If they play a Yeti, I just attack this in hero power and get rid of it. So this is a really good 3-drop. Raider recovered. Flame Cannon, I got a second Flame Cannon, which is so strong, especially with the Cobra pickup. Being able to just boom, clear the board, drop Cobra, I think is really strong. I could make an argument for either one of these, but I'm like in love with this card, so I'm gonna go with the Flame Cannon. Okay, here's another good pick. Mirror Image, we covered that already. It's okay. I still wouldn't pick it in this situation. Fairy Dragon is a pretty decent 2-drop just because it avoids spells and hero powers except for like Flame Cannon. This gets around this type of mechanic, which is another reason I like this. And then we have Darkscale Healer, which is awesome. Darkscale Healer is great. If you have any sort of board presence, if the game is even in any way and it's turn 4, you can just trade some of your minions in, you drop the healer, heal them right back up. Or if you've had trades in the past, you just drop this. It's really, really good for your board control. I already have a couple good 2s. I have a Lobber on 5. I think I'm going to grab the healer here because I expect to still get some more 2s in the future. Okay, Elven Archer is a decent card just to do that extra 1 damage, but I have a hero power to do that, so I usually don't need this. Another Entity is also nice, but I haven't seen any secret things for secrets yet. But we got a second Fireball, and you know with Mage, you just grab another Fireball. Ugh, not. Here's my first, I would say, poor choices that I have. Mana Wraith, not much to say. It's a 2/2 for 2. It makes minions cost more. It's okay. It's fine. It can make them delay a turn sometimes. Oracle draws both players' cards, but it's a suboptimal drop. Usually just gets traded for free. And I don't want my opponent to draw cards. Nerubian Egg. Do I have any activators for Nerubian Egg? Right now, no, which is unfortunate. I mean, I have hero power ping twice, but that's kind of expensive. But this does kind of protect you from board clears a little bit. Makes people hesitant to do it. I guess I could see an argument for picking Oracle, but I'm going to go with Egg. Maybe I'll get an activator in the future. But it's kind of, in my opinion, the best out of these. At least it puts some potential on the board. Okay, well, speaking of activators, we have a Direwolf Alpha here, which is really strong in Arena. Not really on 2, but it's good on like 3 or 4. Cold of Cone, you can get value in Arena for sure out of Cold of Cone. And then you also have a Polymorph, and Polymorph transforms anything into a sheep, basically silencing it. I'm going to go with the Polymorph because Polymorph is amazing. However, I could see an argument for Alpha, but I always like to have at least one Polymorph in my deck, if I can, in Arena, because it just gets rid of any crazy threats. They drop Rag, Polymorph. They drop anything. If they get something crazy on the board you can't deal with, dude, you deal with it, you ping it, you're good to go. Okay. Now we have Ship's Cannon. Already talked about this card. We have the Rawl, which is okay. I am a little short on 3s. About halfway through my draft, I have 1 3, Special Case 3. I have a Mirror Entity, which is essentially a 3, well, kind of a 3-drop. I have 3 2s right now. Haunted Creeper is okay in Arena. It's still something I have to deal with, but a lot of time it's hard to get like full value out of this card because it only has 1 attack. This usually gets cleared pretty easily. I don't think I'm desperate enough in my draft to have to pick a really sub 3. I really want to get one of the 4/4/3s. I would really like to get one of those. And Creeper I can get value out of. So I think I'm just going to go with the Creeper, though I could see an argument for the 3-drop. Oh man, here's another good one. We got a second Piloted Shredder, which is huge. Arcane Intellect's okay. I've seen people who just pick this like almost anytime it's available because it's draw, but in Arena, if you're forfeiting your turn just the draw, and most of the time this is what this does, is forfeit your turn. You play this on 3, you play it on 4, or you play it on 5, and even sometimes on 6, you just forfeit your turn, and it's really hard to do that in Arena and then come back and win. Piloted Shredder we already covered, which is really, really good. And then we have Frostbolt, which I think is equally good as well. This also has the advantage to go to face. So the real choice is between these two. At 4, I'm looking at probably playing a Fireball or my Shredder. I could use another 4-drop for sure. And I do have a lot of removal already. But in Mage, I think I like having as much removal as possible. I think I'm going to go with the Frostbolt here. Though if you picked the Shredder, you wouldn't be wrong in any way. But I really think I'm going to go with the Frostbolt. And in my luck, I got another piloted Shredder. Dread Corsair is terrible in Mage because I'm not going to have weapons. Wisp is infinite value. But I'm definitely not going to pick Wisp. So, piloted Shredder. Got my second one. That was great. Here's what I was looking for. I'll talk about these a little bit. Arcane Explosion's pretty bad. It's just 1 damage. Even with Spell Power, it's just 2 damage. It's not a lot it can kill. It's one of those desperate picks you pick if you have no AoE. I have no AoE, but I have plenty of single target removal, so I should be fine. Hopefully I get like a Flame Strike. That would be an amazing draft. Now, the Brute, I love this card. I haven't had a lot of people talk about this, but I love this card. It's a 4/4 for 3, so it's instant threat. And they're like, oh, but it has 50% chance to attack the wrong enemy. It could mess up your attacks. I never see that happen. When they play it against me, it's never seems bad. Even if they attack and it redirects to my face, I was like, I took 4 to the face, but they still have this 4/4 threat sitting on the board. And that thing's just so strong. Even if it misattacks something, it's going to kill it and most likely live. It has a small chance to go around taunts as well, which is kind of cool. But this is just something they have to deal with after you play it. No one lets this thing sit around. I've never really seen much negativity with the cost associated with it, and it's just a really solid 3-drop. I really like this. Okay, this isn't a bad choice. I'm not gonna pick. I'm just not gonna pick this right now because I just got a good 3-drop. And this is kind of suboptimal. I'm not running Weenie. I'm running more of a curve removal so far. Counterspell's good. Really lets you protect yourself against comebacks. That's how I like to look at this card. If I play it, I'm forfeiting board when I play it, but I'm kind of protecting the board that I've already built against them having a comeback, which is nice. And I mean, I still could get some of the secret cards later, so I could still get value out of that. Blizzard, on the other hand, is really strong. Dropping Blizzard down, the freeze plus the damage lets you not only stall out the game a little bit longer, but it lets you wear down their board. So the argument is really between these 2 cards. And while this is a little bit of a harder one because I could make an argument either direction. I think I've said that a bunch of times this draft, but that's kind of how drafting is most of the time you get 2 cards and you got to pick between that, and depending on your picks, that's really going to determine your deck. I don't have any Flame Strikes yet, and I'm going to be going into my last 10 cards, so I have no AoE. That's why I'm going to pick Blizzard. I have no AoE right now. I have the single target removal, which is nice. If I had other stuff for secrets already, that's still taking risks, but I think the Blizzard's going to be valuable because I don't have a late game yet, which is unfortunate, and I don't have mass removal. Okay. So we got Jungle Panther. We got the Geomancer for spell damage. Smiteful Smith is a great 5-drop. What am I looking at for 3s? 1, 2, 3. 5s, I got my Lobber and my Healer. So it's really between these 2 cards right here. Because for my 2s, I have the Flame Cannons that can make up for not having a 2-drop. You just play that and clear the board, which is nice. Jungle Panther gives me a lot of options because it's going to stick on the board. It's probably going to trade 1-for-1, but it's guaranteeing me a 1-for-1. This you can sometimes get 2-for-1s out of. This is not a bad card at all. So it's between these 2. And really how I'm feeling the deck. How do I feel it's going to play out? And right now I'm really feeling like I can get really good early game control, which I think is so important. So I'm going to take the risk and go with the Panther just to smooth out my curve at the beginning a little bit. And I'm going to forfeit the Smith, even though that's a great pick. Okay. Okay. What are we looking at for mechs? None. No mechs. This is definitely a no then. If I had mechs, I would pick this up. It's not bad. Silence is nice. I got kind of a silence in the polymorph, but I have to play undercurve to play the silence. I have no late game. None. I am going to have to go with War Golem here just because it's the first big drop, and you have to have big drops. You just have to have some. Most of your games are going to go to late game, and you have to have something good to play in the late game, or something to play, period. And so I'm going to go with the War Golem here just to give me something at the end. Okay, Ice Barrier is decent. The 8 armor is good for stalling if you're falling behind. If you had more of an in-game, you needed some of these. Or if you have a bunch of secret card combos. I don't have any, I'm not going to pick that. Stalker, I love Stalker. I think this is a great card. But my 2s, 1, 2, 3, 4, basically 5, 6, 7. I have a good decent amount of 2s to be able to control the early game. I would love to pick this up, but my 5s are a little lax. And a taunt is always nice. Fin Creeper isn't necessarily good, but having a taunt in Arena forces your opponent to attack in a certain order, which can protect other minions that are really low so that you can get additional value out of them. So I think I'm going to take the Fin Creeper here, even though it's a suboptimal drop, but it fleshes out my curve a little bit better, and it gives me a taunt, which I don't have yet. Okay, here's my epic choice. War Leader, not picking War Leader. I don't have other Murlocs. Echo. I haven't actually got to play much of this card yet. I've seen it a couple times in Arena. It's really expensive. It can be good. And then there's Molten Giant as well. So the choice is really between these two. I do need more late game, so I could make an argument for Giants being good. The Echo, I could get some infinitely good value out of it if I have board control. However, I feel like if I have board control, I'm probably already going to win, and it becomes a win more card at that point, in Arena anyway. And Giants can kind of help me turn the game back around, depending on when I'm playing it. So I think I'm going to go with the Giants, though I might regret it not having the Echo. I'll probably play through my games, and then I'll pretend the Giant is an Echo, and just see if it would have been valuable. Then that way I know next time I draft if it would have been good or not. Okay. Got the Dancing Swords for 3, which is another 4/4. So stat-wise it's good. However, it gives your opponents a card draw, and I really don't like giving my opponents a 2-for-1. Which is upsetting. I just don't want to give them that value. This machine's pretty terrible. I mean, if I had some mech synergy, maybe. If I was playing, playing a different class with boosts or something, maybe I'd play that. The Inventor's really good. It's a 2-for-4, so it's a 2/4. But so it will probably live in a lot of cases, but it gives you a card draw. I do need more 4-drops, kind of, so that I can save these and not play them. I'm going to go with that for some card draw, which is nice. Here we go. So, Raid Leader at 3 this card's pretty bad. It's just pretty bad in general. I've never really gotten a lot of good value out of that. Tailstrider isn't terrible if you really, really need a 4-drop. You can play that down. You can trade with Yetis, so it's not bad. But I need more late game. I got a couple cards of late game. Stormwind's great. I'm going to pick up the Stormwind. Okay, Cogmaster again is a no. I don't have max. Bluegill Warrior is a 2 damage for 2 spell. That's how I always looked at this card. Basically, for 2 damage, you just whack. 2 mana, 2 damage. Play it like a spell. Don't think I need that. Chillwind Yeti's super strong. It gives me an above curve 4-drop. So if they're behind, I can get this, drop it down, pretty much secure it. Maybe I can burn out a fireball there. So I'm gonna go with the Yeti. Okay. So Core Hound 7. My late game's okay. I mean, 3, kind of Ogre. 4, it's not bad. Raid Leader I don't really have a lot of value out of. I think I'm going to grab the Mirror Entity here. Yeah, I already have 1, but 2 isn't bad. It's gonna do something late game like protect my board. So if I have a good board, I can drop this down on turns that I know they want to play something big on. Maybe I can get a copy of it as well. Also, it makes them play suboptimally. So I think I'm going to go with the NTT here. Okay, again, Dread Corsair is bad in Mage. Shield Bearer at 1. It's just going to soak up a couple of points of damage and then die for free. Mana Worm. I'm going to grab another one. It's 2 Mana Worms. And I have spells right off the bat that I can play. So, not terrible. Oh, not bad. I did not get any Flame Strikes. So that's rough. I'm really glad I grabbed that Blizzard then, because I didn't get any other board clear. Mana Addict, cover this. I already have good 2s, I don't need that. Demolisher can be good sometimes. That you can just literally play this and then demolish their board repeatedly if they can't get rid of it, as long as it hits the right targets. It's a lot of RNG in this card. Kodo is great. I don't need another 5-drop, but I would love another 5-drop, especially one that can just remove things off the board. So I'm going to go with Kodo here. So let's look at the draft real quick. 2 1-drops is okay. Some good solid early removal here. Some solid drops. This egg is going to be a pain because I don't have any way to activate it, but I still didn't have a very good choice for it. Double Entity is okay. I might be able to get some value. Could swing some games. I really like Cobra, Panther, and Brute here, so I like my 3s. Double Fireball is great. Polymorph is great. Yeti is great. Shredders are great. Lobber can be great. Healer's good. Fen's okay. Kodo's okay. And then we got the War Golem down here. Why are those so pretty? That's weird. I don't know why this one's pretty. Huh. Is it because they get cut off? No. Whatever. Then we got Stormwind Champion, Ogre. My 6s are terrible. But I didn't get... I'm really glad I grabbed this at the beginning. So, okay. Next I'm going to play some games, and we'll see how we do. I think this can be a pretty decent deck. I'm just going to have to make sure I maintain the board control because I can't really make up for it late game.